Hello everyone, welcome to One for the Road. This is a podcast for a music chat. With me as always is my co-host Dom.
Hello, I'm happy to be here, Lewis. Every week we go by, you're sounding more and more like a good radio show host. I'm loving it.
Really?
Yeah,
mate, putting my radio voice on. I hope you appreciate it. So this week we're taking a look at Red Hot Chili Peppers' The Getaway, their album from 2016. So it was your choice, Dom. Have you got any background about the conception of this album?
Yeah, so it's kind of it was one of these ones that came off the back of a long wait, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It was, as I kind of looked it up quickly on Wikipedia and whatnot, on the various sites, it became clear that they had such a long gap in between the tracks that a lot had happened in their actual individual lives. And they said that they'd written like 20 to 30 songs, ready to go for a new album.
Wow.
Because the previous album, it's the last one was 2011's I'm With You. And this was done, in 2016. So it's quite a gap for any band, really. And they just go into detail saying they had so many songs that, they had ready, like 20 to 30 of them. And they really thought something was going to happen. And then Flea, the bassist, went snowboarding, broken his arm.
Oh, really?
Which was a bit of a setback for the band, because obviously you're a bassist with a broken arm, and it's kind of a thing to get around. But what it did was it forced the band to go into a different line of thinking. They had to rethink what they were doing, what kind of space they were in, and they just said, kind of in interviews and stuff, that lo and behold, it was worth it. And They got with a man called Danger Mouse, called Brian Burton, aka Danger Mouse, and he said, "Let's go make a record." And they were like, "Great, we've got all these songs," and he was like, "Leave them. Let's go write new songs." And obviously, you got that many years in between albums. They got so used to these songs that they'd written, being told to drop them all and go into there and do a whole new set. They were quite worried about, but in all, they were quite glad that they carried that forward and they did all the new songs. That's how the Getaway kind of came about. Throwing out all the old, throwing out all the stuff that they had ready, just going into the sessions, doing the songs, coming out happy as can be.
That's interesting, because you get the sense with this and a lot of the wider themes that they are. It's an older writer, and there's a lot of life experience that they're writing about.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony,
it's quite reflective as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Anthony, it's not a young band.
Not at all. They started in the 80s, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. It's like 88, was it? I'm going to have a quick check. But I'm pretty sure it's like 88. Even 83.
Blimey. That's a good
83 they started.
So really, this is like their fourth decade of music making that they're in.
Consistent music, yeah.
That's insane.
They had a hard start, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think, when you put it in perspective, like you said, that's nuts, isn't it? How far down the line we are now. Especially with Flea and Anthony being at the forefront of all of this.
Yeah.
I think it just stands as testament to the band itself. So, reinventing yourself this far down the line by just throwing out what you're used to and going at it just speaks to the level of trust they have in each other as a band.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though a lot of the people have changed, that core idea of the band has stayed.
Mm-hmm. And this is an album that I thought, I listened to it when it first came out, before I got Spotify or any other kind of subscription service, and then hadn't really gone back to it since. So I'm really glad you picked it, because it felt like when I was going back listening to these, I was rediscovering all these great tracks that I'd forgotten about.
I mean, they're amazing,
really
aren't they?
Yeah, really good to go back to.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad really, because I think it's one of those ones that is just an easy album to listen to as well. It's not a hard album to listen to, in the sense where you put out time, you have to think about listening. It's one that you can really grasp and get a good idea about listening completely casually, which is what, for me, an album is all about. At 53 minutes and 50 seconds total length on the album, broken down into all these different tracks running at different paces, you'd think, oh, well, maybe it's going to be all over the place. Not true. It's got a very good structure all the way throughout, even though it doesn't feel like it, and it really eases you into listening to every track. I'm glad you've rediscovered it, because it's one for me. Like I said last time, I was out in America with work, and it came out, and I was like blown away, because obviously we'd listened to the Chili's. They're very popular in the UK, especially on some of their earlier albums. You got all those classic ones like Other Side and whatnot.
Yeah.
But this for me was like, oh well, I've never dived I've never got straight into an actual Chili's album. This was my entry to an actual album listen. I've never sat through an album before from the Chili's, so for me this was amazing. And to come out of it with this album, I was happy to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get stuck in, shall we, Lewis?
Yeah, let's go for it. Track 1.
Okay.
The Getaway title track. Now, I think this has got a really sort of mellow feeling, like a lot of the tracks on this album. So it's still relaxed, even though it can have a bit of a fastish kind of beat to it. Again, really nice. It's got that, sets up that sort of laid-back California road trip kind of vibe. That's what I imagine when I listen to this.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I think I've listened to it that many times. Like, I'm so in love with this entire album. Like, The Getaway for me is the first one. Is a great entry song because it kind of mirrors a lot of the band's attitudes in its kind of wording. So I think some of the basics just to run over. I've just put here the vocal snare at the start.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a vocal. It's not an which I love the fact that rather than actually just getting the snare and doing it, they're just mouthing the snare. Yeah. It gives you that raw kind of feeling, which the band is, which is the band's.
They've always
can't
had
predict
that,
what they're going to do. You got because the thing is they're all absolute nutters.
Yeah.
That's why. Flea is off his rocker. He grew up with Anthony as well. Anthony is off his rocker. You know what I mean? Like the rest of the band follows suit. So having a vocal snare, that funky opening, like straight into it, like it's proper, feels like proper funk.
Why not?
Female backing to bring it that kind of like soft, kind of hallucination type vibe. Hippie type vibe. You've got that, very subtle lyric to kind of piece it all together. And even down to the lyrics, some of the words I haven't like. It's not often that I come across words that I don't know about in kind of popular lyrics.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at the lyrics of some of these songs, the words they use are like supercavitation.
Yeah.
Any ideas what supercavitation means?
No idea, mate.
Let's have a quick gander. Let's have a quick gander.
The process of creating a bubble around an object submerged in liquid to minimise drag and increase speed. Yeah.
Yeah. So submarine tech, which is interesting actually, because if this is about submarines. Later on, when he talks about this Ticatonga, that's a type of US carrier.
Interesting
so
references
maybe
there.
Navally themed,
some sort of naval.
But
yeah, I expected that.
But yeah, so you can see from the lyrics that they've got this kind of good diction. They know what they're doing. They know what they want to say, but at the same time, it's just completely out there and very confusing as it looks on the surface. So
this one especially really as well, I don't feel like it gives too much away.
Oh god,
kind of about two people-ish, maybe.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like when I was looking through, I was thinking, well, you know what I could do for this? I could, in my listen throughs, I could really try and like go in hard and decipher all of this. But then I thought, well, you know what? Actually, it's made in a way where it's not really meant to.
Yeah, because I think it does. It does get more explicit with the later ones. That are less open to interpretation, aren't they?
Definitely, yeah.
This is just a nice, I think, nice soft opener for it.
Exactly, yeah. I've just added to it. I've got speedy bass, gentle guitar plucking adds some great notes to the entire composition. Yeah. Very strange lyrics. I've just put hippie-ish. What did you think of kind of what did you have down?
Yeah, I thought they were. Again, it's just that sort of laid-back hippie California sort of feeling. Just some sort of getaway, maybe running away with people. I'm not sure. Like a getaway inside your car. Take it too far. Yeah, I mean, taking my ride.
It's obviously, lost in California. Let's steal this wheel. Just take a spin to find out how we feel. They're getting out and about. They don't want to be stuck in the same place.
Yeah, definitely. Which again is a getaway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it says what it does on the tin. It says what it does on the tin. Does what it says on the tin. I put brilliant riffs throughout this, and the last verse is so well put together.
Oh yeah,
I really enjoyed the last verse of this, and especially with the riff. So when you hear it, "Don't be late, because you're my savior." Some brilliant riffs in it, to bring that piece together. Yeah, cracking tune, really good tune, great start. Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Yeah, moving on then. Dark Necessities. Now, this was my first listen to the album, so I didn't start at The Getaway. I
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw on YouTube it came up for me, so I didn't find this on like the music app or anything like that because I had a subscription service at the time for Google Play Music. But for me, it was the music video from YouTube for Dark Necessities that really captured my attention.
All right.
And
Yeah, never saw the video.
I tell you what, you need to go and watch it because it makes a lot more sense when you watch it with the video.
Ah,
You know,
right, okay.
it's a cracking tune, and I'll be interested to see what you think, like lyrically or story wise, what you're getting out of this. Because then, if you go and watch the video, I think it might give you a different perspective, and you'll go, "Oh,
right, okay.
how did I not see it?" Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, because I
so
think
I'm
there is a
going to
lot
let
to
you
unpack.
take.
Isn't there?
Yeah, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one and let you start going off. So, Dark Necessities, what we see.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's a big highlight of the album. I mean, musically, I love the gradual build-up at the start to that main sort of really funky bass riff that you get.
Yeah.
And piano's incorporated as well, which is very nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, lyrically, I think the whole Dark Necessities are part of my design, or lines like that. I get the impression it's sort of coming to terms with vices and things like that are an essential part of his personality. The whole sort of drugs, rock and roll scene, that kind of thing. Is it just the acceptance of that? Or telling somebody else they've got to accept that that's part of who he is?
I can see that, yeah, you know, because you know, Dark Necessities, it's quite a contradiction, isn't it? It's not a contradiction, but it's kind of a telling thing, which is they're dark necessities, but they're necessities nonetheless.
It's bad, but it needs
it's habits almost. Do you know what I mean? It could be considered habits. That's what I would call like a dark necessity is a habit.
Yeah.
Because habits, while some can be good habits, most of the time they are bad habits, and I think that's what a dark necessity would be. You know.
Oh, yeah.
It's another way of saying it. I agree with you completely. The opening is a cracking build up to come out. The pace increases are amazing. The bass lines and the clap they just sew it so well together. You know, with that kind of harsh clap coming in as well. Brilliant. The chorus is amazing.
Yeah.
I really like that chorus. So Dark Necessities are part of my design. Love it. Yeah. Anything else you got from it?
No, just that it's probably one of my favourites off the album. Like, definitely one of the singles that I'd keep on a playlist. Like, yeah,
Definitely. I feel like it was their one that really kind of struck a chord with me as being the one that is the best written.
yeah.
It's a really interesting video.
I'm gonna have to look that up now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so when I kind of say, you know, Dark Necessities, I find it really interesting. Just looking for the video now, just in case. But when I first watched it, I don't know if I. This is quite scary now, so I can't actually find it. So I don't know if I watched like somebody put it over something else.
Oh, really?
But no, so I'm pretty sure I watched it. Yeah, so this is the impression that I got. Okay, from it. Okay, I thought it was about a young man's kind of journey into revealing his sexuality.
Oh, right. Okay.
Coming out of coming out in the light of day, we've got many moons that are deep at play. So keep an eye on the shadow smile. I think he's smiling through. He's got his dark necessities, and he's unsure if he for example, you can see as you go through it, it's a stumble down to the parking lot. You've got no time for the afterthought.
Right.
You know what I mean? What I'm saying is, I feel like he plays a part. He likes women for it. You know, I really wish I could find you this video. It's such an impactful video when I first watched it. That's the impression that I got from it when I was looking at the video itself. It was a young man who was going out with this girl, and then he ends up kind of realising that he might be gay.
Yeah.
And it's these dark necessities, and he waits till the end of parties and stuff when his girlfriend's not there, or he waits for the opportunities, and they're part of his design, but he's not sure what's happening. You know, when you look towards the kind of end of the tracks, I find it really interesting. You know, you don't know my mind, you don't know my kind.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dark necessities are part of
That's
my
it, especially
design.
with their generation as well. It wouldn't have been as accepted as it is now, and they would feel like they've had to hide it. So yeah, kind of makes sense that. Yeah. There's
that's where I kind of came
good little
from.
quote actually, and a little interview quote from Anthony on the Genius lyrics. He's on about dark necessities. He says it speaks to the beauty of our dark sides and how much creativity and growth and light actually comes out of those difficult struggles that we have on the inside of our heads that no one else can see.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Here it is. I found it. I found the video. It is the official video.
Oh, brilliant!
It goes through when you go through. You've seen a lot of different people and stuff doing, stealing things, riding around, being a bit crazy. That's the video I must have seen then. That's the kind of view I got from it. It's one of those ones that I was really invested in because it was the first one I watched.
Yeah.
So I've probably waffled a bit here, but it's because I'm quite into the idea of that being maybe the one.
Yeah.
Especially because at the time, like, it was, what was it, 2016?
16, yeah.
There was a lot going on in 2016. Like, I think, like, every single year past, like, 2015, with the Trump administration and all that, setting off the world on fire, everyone's got problems, and I feel like as every year, each year's been worse than the one before, but in 2016, that was the worst year of the 21st century. Then 2017 was, then 2018 was a disaster, so that's kind of why I see it that way. Maybe not. Maybe that's just my take on it, But eagerly moving on, because I feel like I've gone on a bit too long about that one. We Turn Red.
Yeah.
What did you think?
This one, really strong drums opening. I liked that a lot. And I thought the structure was quite interesting as well. It's almost like the chorus slows down and then the verses are at the higher tempo. It's like a reverse of your standard song structure, because normally you build up to the energetic choruses, don't you? But it's sort of flipped on this one.
Exactly, yeah.
So I thought it was quite unique.
I think for me, this feels like a return to Chili's form.
Yeah.
This is their usual form. They don't do a lot of confirmation to original structures. Yeah, a lot of it is like this. So for me, when I heard this, I was like, oh, classic Chili's. Really throwing you off on what you're doing. So I couldn't agree more. That change in structure and the more funk kind of structure as well, which is just playing around with the idea of pacing as opposed to sticking to anything they have to do.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be the lyrics mention just going to a lot of different places in the US, don't they? It's like, I think it's a good road trip song.
New Orleans, Delaware, all that, Chicago.
Fishing in New Orleans. Yeah.
It's an interesting song. It's got a lot to say. I really, really quite enjoyed this song. It's just a fun song.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of fun, And again, like, even though it's kind of harsher and it's a bit more funk and it's a bit more distorted in that kind of form system that we're used to, still an easy listen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's not an onslaught or anything in any way, is it?
No, not at all. Not at all, no. It's a nice little song, I don't think there's too much you could, like, pull apart from it. I think it's kind of just summing up what they like to do, really. I think it's as easy as that. They're just telling everybody what they like to do and what they do in their own time. Sitting here, I count the moons every night before we go to bed. I watch the others pray. Set off to Delaware. He's just talking about different things and what's going on in their lives.
Just have a cruise around the States, yeah.
Yeah,
why
exactly. Egg, blood, exactly. Exactly. The kind of the we got large and we got small. We got a swimming pool and a cannonball. Yeah. We turn red and we turn green. The craziest thing I ever seen. I like that.
A little bit trippy.
Just as like a 4-piece. It's just a bit trippy. But the kind of we got large and we got small really kind of gets me. Because I kind of think of it, and the only reason I think of it this way is because of what I've read, which is we got large and we got small. Okay, well, they were massive. The Chili's were massive.
Yeah.
With their albums. They were ridiculously massive. And then to go away since 2011 to 2016, practically unheard of. Do you know what I mean?
For a band, that's a long
didn't
time.
Hear anything. Yeah, I didn't hear of anything coming out or anything of great news, interest. I think they kind of receded back to their kind of roots, and they went and enjoyed their lives. And the We Got Small is coming back to it now.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate that. That's kind of how I feel about the song, anyway.
Oh yeah, that definitely makes sense to me. Yeah.
Right then, Lewis, what have we got next?
Next up, The Longest Wave. Now, I think it's got some beautiful guitar work in this one. It's really slow,
Lovely.
very contemplative as well. Like, I feel this is
Yeah,
another
very
one that's
relaxing
written really
build,
well.
isn't it?
Like where he's looking back at his life, quite reflective. And it's quite frank in the lyrics as well. Some of the lyrics, because I know
Yeah,
Anthony Kiedis
he's
did have
done-
he had like the typical sort of young supermodel girlfriend, didn't he? Quite a big
Yeah.
age gap between them, which age is another theme that I feel is consistent throughout
yeah,
a lot of these. But lines like "under my skin and half my age," is it that to end of life, aging, relationship breakdown sort
I
of
think
theme?
he's
that's going on?
either that or he's got to the point where he's kind of realised what the relationship actually is. Maybe
Mhm.
I haven't looked into it because I don't do a lot of like gossip searching because it doesn't interest me. But I imagine like especially with that line, under my skin but half my age. For me, what that says is she had him by the ghoulies.
Mhm.
The short and curlies, do you know what I mean? Like she had manipulated, not saying she definitely manipulated him, but from what I'm gathering from these lyrics is he felt somewhat manipulated by the relationship. Like maybe it wasn't a genuine relationship, and he fell for that.
If you think that as well,
And the wave is coming
to
take him
if you
away.
describe something as under your skin, that's like a parasite,
Yeah.
isn't it, or something?
Yeah,
burrowing
and
in,
maybe for me, what it probably means is he's probably harking back to that. I can't remember the song. Yeah, I got you under my skin.
Yeah, the old
that
one.
one. It's a very classic blues. I don't think it's blues, and I'm going to butcher this because I don't know, and it's off the top of my head. This is, but I always felt that was a bluesy type kind of subculture American song.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking it is. That kind of, it's a funky kind of. It's got that click all the way through it as well. So I think he's that kind of funky, and I felt that's what he was referring to.
Yeah.
She's under my skin. It's a woman who's under his skin, which women most often do,
Mhm.
right? So that's where I kind of got it from.
Yeah.
But maybe you're right. Maybe parasitic in some nature. I guess we're not so sacrosanct.
Yeah.
They're not holy.
Some of the really good words
They're
coming
not.
in there.
Yeah, exactly. They're not a holy relationship. They've not been, blessed with that relationship. It's not so sacrosanct. It isn't perfect. And he maybe thought it was,
Yeah, perhaps.
a seamless little team, and then we tanked. But then he's out of it, he's out of it. Maybe you're my last love, maybe you're my first. Now, I love this chorus. It is one of the best choruses on the entire album, and I think in a lot of my favourite albums. Maybe you're my... It's the way he sings it as well. Maybe you're my last love, maybe you're my first. Just another way to play inside the universe. And now I know why we came. It's really impactful and tells you where he's at in a mental stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be. It's a little bit melancholy, isn't it?
Yeah, as the end of relationships so often are.
True.
I think this wave he talks about though is something that's come to whatever this wave is. It's come and saved him, saved the day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Cool. Yeah, a bit of a realisation. Maybe that's rescued his
exactly.
headspace. Yeah.
Exactly. I'd be interested to see what. There's another word here, which is saxifrage.
All right.
Which I'd like to know what that is.
Hotter than the wax on a saxifrage. What would that be then?
I think it's a plant.
Yeah.
Also, HMS Saxifrage was 2 Royal Navy ships.
Really?
Operation Saxifrage, a World War II military operation. Anthony, come on, man! Just say that you're a history buff. Saxifrage is the largest genus of the Saxifraga, containing about 440 species of holarctic perennial plants known as saxifrages or rockfalls. Stonebreaker. It's usually thought for medicinal use or the treatment of that, which I'm not going to say, rather than breaking rocks apart. So it's a treatment. It's a medicine.
Some sort of wax involved then.
Obviously, maybe it's some weird stuff that we've never even heard of, like a disambiguation of some sort. But again, it shows that command of language that he has when he's trying to get his thoughts out onto paper. Just to cover off some of the bits I found, like you said, lovely opening guitar. Yeah. The guitar pieces in this were gorgeous. It was slower than the previous for definite. It's got a very relaxing build to it. The lyrics are mad. Mm-hmm. I've just put that.
Yeah.
And then coming up to the end of the song, great finishing guitar.
Yeah.
Lovely altar piece. I think this is This is in my relaxation playlist.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite songs of this album, for definite.
There's a
not
few
that
like that
many
you can
aren't.
pick out to chill to, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. It's harkening back
it's
to
good
that
for that.
funk, I think, again. You know.
Cool.
Right,
Ready
what do we have
to,
next?
move on to Goodbye Angels. Which I think, carrying on that theme, this is another really good one that I would put on my own relaxation list.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, you've got another really good build up to the chorus, nice bass line starting off. And again, you've got those sort of more sadder undertones, end of the relationship feeling to it. But then
This is like the aftermath of the wave, isn't it? You know, taking him away.
And then sort of in the outro, you've just got that killer instrumental.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I just put slap bass. Woo!
Yeah, really.
Because it is, again,
it,
it's basically like you can imagine Flea being on stage and then absolutely going ape shit. You know what I mean? Just
solo,
absolutely losing his shit, throwing his head around like he often does. How that man hasn't like disconnected his brain, you know, from his like spinal column, I have no idea. He is constantly on the move. You know, as I just put I agree, it's such an amazing end. I mean, it slows down like to 3/4 of the speed throughout, so about 3/4 of the way through the song, it slows right down again, and then that rebuild is what leads to that amazing end. You know, very good lyrically at building songs.
Yeah, it's really worth the payoff.
Definitely. You know, it's a bit of an easier build of a song. You know, it's a very normal kind of structure. There's not, you know, it's got some changes, but as Red Hot Chili Peppers go, it's one of the more tame songs. Yeah. There's got so much going on. Drums, lead guitar, bass guitar, vocals, backing vocals. You've got so much going on throughout this song. I love it.
Yeah, and they all sort of shine individually, don't they? It's not
exactly.
Not too much of a mess.
It's not something that they get lost in each other's noise.
Yeah, really well constructed.
And I think it leads us very well as a piece. It leads very well into Sick Love.
Yeah. You
know, I think at the start, I feel like there's a disjoint in how the album moves, but it doesn't feel disjointed. You know what I mean? The Getaway, Dark Necessities, We Turn Red. Those are all things to me that are different than what The Longest Wave, Goodbye Angels, and Sick Love start to say.
Yeah, there is a variety in there as well, but it's still
a
consistent piece as an album.
Exactly. I think it's maybe a life story.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where we're coming in, as opposed to like a part of someone's life as a whole, as an album. Each one is kind of going through different events in somebody's life, whether that be a fictional character or the band themselves. Sick Love, I mean, again, a great funky opening with distortion on the guitar as well. It's not an overly long song. It is one of the shorter songs on the album. I loved it.
Yeah.
You know, what I did pick out is the last one, Goodbye Angels, says Serpentine. I think she was an Aussie.
Yeah, because I think this model he was dating was from Australia originally.
And yeah, exactly. And then the next one, which is Sick Love, you start up first line, say goodbye to Oz and everything you own.
Yeah.
California's dream.
So it's definitely getting more unravelling the writing more in this song.
And I don't know what a petty bon is. Do you know what a petty bon is?
Nope.
There we go.
Again, it's challenging us.
Let's try again.
Let's have a look. I think it's an artist. Yeah, some sort of black and white comic book artist. Yeah.
It's such a
apparently inspired
album.
the music video as well. Yeah.
Such a strange album.
So if you look into it, there's a lot of little bits and bits
it's
of
very well put
knowledge
together
to pick out.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell you what, after a couple of listens to this album, you'll be ready for any quiz. I like this one. Funky opening, distortional guitar. What did you think?
Going in for the chorus, I think there's this piano sneaks in again, and it's kept quite low, and it just suits it. That's really well done. But the line as well, rivers get connected so much stronger than expected. Which again, I think that's like
to washes away.
Is it not what he? You know, did he not think he'd get this deep, or like you say about Under the Skin?
Yeah, he's in there deep,
surprised him. Yeah, that's the connotations that I got from that. Anyway.
No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I can get that because I think it's like that lack of control, fighting against the river. You know, Sit Love comes to wash us away. Prisons of perspective. You know, the word prisons itself just emotes that, doesn't it? Sit Love is my modern cliche. You know, I think you're absolutely bang on the money there.
Very emotive
absolutely.
language.
Yeah. I liked it. I didn't find much to say about it, to be honest. I've put it at the end. Great solo with good distortion gives it that out of this world feel.
Yeah, that's it. It's simple, isn't it? There's no
it's a simple song. It's very
it's
not
very
really,
much straight to the point about what it's about.
It's just like the first one. Yeah, just like the first one. But then this leads me to probably what is my third favourite from the album.
Yeah.
Which is Go Robot.
Yeah, this is good.
I love this song. It is so catchy and so fun to sing along to. The best bass of all of the tracks as well.
Yeah, I think it's a really good sort of like dance kind of rhythm to it. I don't know if is this the influence of that Danger Mouse producer. I'm not sure.
Could be.
Sounds like
it could be.
You know, got that sort of techno sort of dance rhythm.
Yeah, it's more modern in its approach. I think
Yeah.
is what I'd say is, you know, catchy and open. It's I feel like it was one that was not trying to capture that side of the market, but meant to imitate.
Yeah.
You know, in some way, I think the
Just
lyric kind
of
fell. Yeah. You know, I think probably for me, I don't know what the creative process is, but it seems like a band. If they just went in there and made it up on the spot, I think they obviously had a hook, and then from that hook, they just played it from there.
Yeah.
You know,
expanded it out.
The best bass of all, catchy open, lyrical pace, and the sound matches the bass tone so well. So they're all like put at a certain pace, and they keep to that pace. That Californian voice suits the chorus so well, so goddamn funky. You know.
Yeah, it's good.
I love it. I think he's brilliant. What about you?
Yeah, again, really fun song. Maybe about sort of our next generation's obsession with technology, perhaps. Or sort of, there is lines like, "You've got to choose it to use it, so let me plug it in. Robots are my next of kin." Or, you know, is he saying that lovers are like robots, cold, detached? Is this the modern? I think it's a bit of a commentary on modern life. Anyway, yeah.
I think I'd agree. Really, it's got that futuristic accompaniment in a lot of its sounds. I feel like it actually makes use. I couldn't quite tell, but I feel like it actually makes use in some parts of like sound effects.
Yeah.
Not actual song. Like, you know, they're actually adding sound effects in there. You know, with the distortion and whatnot. It's all about sex.
Yeah.
I think it says the same. The one that really solidifies that me is our bodies like two dominoes.
Yeah, that's true. Dominoes falling down together.
They're chosen to go together. Like they're the ones that you found a match. Do you see what I mean? So I think what you said there really struck a chord because I agree. Like dominoes, you have to find the matching one.
Yeah. And there's those bit more raunchy lines in there, like, "I want to thank you and spank you upon your silver skin." Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, he's having fun. I mean, they are free love kind of sexually charged blokes anyway. You know, so I can completely see that. Yeah, exactly. You know, especially if he's dating this bloody whatever supermodel or whatever. You know, hopefully he's learned his lesson. But what made me laugh is she cried so hard, you know, that she looked like Alice Cooper.
Yeah, that's the brilliant makeup, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Great imagery.
Cries so hard. Yeah. You know she looked like Alice Cooper. Brilliant. I don't think that it's so personal anymore. I think that's rather than saying about someone that he's with, I think he's saying that as a kind of statement again, which is, you know, it's not personal anymore. There's no, you know, and he says, I don't think it's irreversible anymore.
It's just cold and robotic. And
yeah, but he's saying there's hope. I don't think it's irreversible. You know, brilliant to me. I was saying, you know what, there's hope. There's hope. Yeah, you know, it is a choice. I think that's what I get throughout this whole album is the Red Hot Chili Peppers are a group of like Californian out there's who made it well and have stuck to the guns and just done what's made them happy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think they're sponsoring that in a way. They're sponsoring that way of thought. You know, you don't have to like. I think especially like as we've kind of gone further down the line because I don't know if this was pre-Trump or post-Trump. I think it was pre-Trump. But I think it's even more relevant now, especially in not every country, because I think I was watching... there's a great speech that Stephen Fry did on a debate, and he was saying how this grand fissure has opened up and people on both sides are just shouting at each other but not hearing.
Yeah.
And then everyone in the crack below, in the fissure below, has to just listen to all the shouting. So I think for me, I think we've lost our ability to actually just get along. And I think that's what this is saying. The unifying force within us all, as Russell Brand would say, sex.
Yeah.
So that's what I got from this song anyway.
Yeah, that is a feature of modern life, isn't it? Especially on internet discussions. Either you've got to love something or hate it. There's no middle ground. You've got to pick a side. In between.
Yeah, you have
and
to
you're part
pick
of that tribe. It's
tribalism,
you can't look at things holistically
for the modern day.
Can you?
No, and it's really disappointing because that sharing of ideas is what makes things so great. But when you lose that sharing of ideas and it becomes cold and metallic, and you speak only in absolutes, that's when you lose something, I think. And I think that's what this is about. It's a dangerous
road that we're going down.
Yeah, but I think we got the Red Hot Chili Peppers here to remind us, just chill the fuck out.
Exactly.
Like, just love, don't hate.
Fixing the world on a podcast.
Aye, fixing the bloody world on a podcast, eh? Next will be virtue signaling up on a tower somewhere. Where's our ivory tower? Following on, we got Feasting on the Flowers. Interesting name, I thought, whenever I see this. I thought, very interesting name. Another out of this world track.
Did you look at the subject matter for this one?
Oh no, go on.
I was surprised because, musically it's quite upbeat compared to the...
can I make a guess?
Subject, yeah, go on.
I think it's about death.
Yeah, definitely.
Just so I'll let you go into it, because I think if you've got something, go for it. So I think it's about suicide for one. A friend of his that's committed it. Feasting on flowers, pushing up daisies.
Yeah, when you buried it. That's right. Really sad. So
talks about the next dimension.
Yeah, original member of the band, apparently just called Yellow, died when he was 26 of an overdose, and it was Anthony Kiedis' best friend at the time.
It's definitely a shame.
And so it's just wrote this song about him.
Yeah, I think it's another example of people of that generation growing up on that side of the US. Even though the Great Expanse had happened, the Manifest Destiny, where the Americans moved across the open plains to go to California and start a new life. I feel like after all that had settled and the American dream had started to fade, and then the drugs crisis was introduced. Yeah. Because it's a very similar time frame to Nirvana.
Yeah.
Really.
Which I found.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I felt when I was looking at it. It's the same kind of generational problem across two different areas. On the same side of the US. 26, a number much too small for someone's golden years.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a song for his mate.
It's quite a sad one. You sing a little bit stronger when you remember the song of your old best friend.
Yeah. Like
she always said, "Oh, don't look back, just look ahead." Who's the she?
So that's interesting. Because it wouldn't be this recent girlfriend, would it? If we're in this time period, if he's looking back to around at this point. Somebody obviously helped to it.
Yeah, there's no female members of the band. I'm not mad or anything. I'm pretty damn sure there isn't.
I don't think so.
I don't think any female would want to be in that band. It's fucking nuts. They're all undress all the time and walk around with nothing on. True. I'd be interested who that she was, but brilliant tune. And also I did pick up on that. I didn't look into it, but now you said, now I've seen that 26 again. I remember reading about him, so I've kind of put two and two together now. Strong song. Suicide. I thought it was about
sort of somber tribute song.
Yeah, it is a shame, but look at the beauty that comes of something like that. Moving on, I think again, this is where I feel like it takes another step in like the overall lifetime of the band.
Yeah.
So we start off with the Getaway, Dark Necessities doing what they want, go into like grief and sadness and love, and then they go straight into what I think is just them having fun, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's
after the fact.
Detroit. It's talking about a city, isn't it? The history behind it.
Yeah, and cars.
Yeah.
Cities and cars. Love it. Classic acoustic like bass.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if it is an acoustic bass, but it has that sound to it.
Yeah.
It's got a bell in it, which I quite like to piece it together. It's all about cars. I mean, for the city, Henry won the war.
Yeah, Henry
Ford. Love it.
Yeah, because Detroit was the capital of the whole motor industry, wasn't it? Before
it had
absolutely its sort of recent decline.
I mean, what? So it was at 2 million people. After the industry started to fall apart, it's now at something ridiculous, like I think it was 400,000. So 1.5 million people left the city.
Yeah.
Which, if you think about it, as a mass exodus, is nuts.
Certainly is. They've got some connections there, haven't they? I know Atherton was born in the same state, and I think the drummer was spent most of his childhood in a Detroit suburb as well.
Yeah. You want a change in lyrical focus for the album, though.
Just looking back to a place, somewhere geographical.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A different time in their lives again, talking about something from the past. All of these so far have been in the past, but I feel like we're getting closer to the modern day.
Yeah, building up there. So when you said about that bell, I thought that really reminds me of maybe like hitting an anvil or something. Just kind of a bit of an industrial
That's you and your Peaky
factory.
Blinders, that is.
Probably is. Yeah.
That's what that is. There's every opening on Peaky Blinders.
Anyway. Yeah.
Some brummie in the background slamming an hammer into an iron rivet. Yes, I do get that kind of feeling as well. It gives it that more industrial tone, because it's quite a harsh bell tone, isn't it? You've got that.
Yeah,
quite
it's not a soft one.
Metallic. I know more bells are metallic, but it gives it more away. I think you've got that echo on it.
Good addition.
Absolutely, great finish. Great heavy track as well. Great finish.
Mm-hmm. Now,
so what have we got next?
I was going to say, do you want me to say this one?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
It's This Ticonderoga. Again.
Okay. Go ahead, Lewis.
What the hell does that mean?
So I found it was a fort from the Revolutionary War.
Right, okay.
That was taken by the Americans. It was also another US Navy ship.
Yeah.
Type is the class of aircraft carrier.
This is like putting together some kind of mystery or treasure hunt.
It is, I think here he's just like laid throughout naval history, like all the way throughout.
Through it. Yeah.
Yeah, secretly he runs his own little museum and he wants people to visit. So he weaves into the songs. He does talk about we are all just soldiers in this open field of time. So he's got, I think, the military is something that maybe has affected him. I'd like to see what the connection between Anthony and the military was. But what did you find about this?
Yeah, there's military connections, but this is one I looked up on Genius Lyrics. The title, the Ticonderoga, it's a brand of pencils as well.
Oh. Brilliant.
And you think if you write in these sort of used and cast aside, some say it might be like his many partners previously,
Okay.
But then this song could be, the lyrics maybe just about one particular one. So there's ones like at the end of the bridge, what are we ever going to do when all I want to be is next to you?
I get that. Yeah. I can
his
take
previous
that away,
lifestyle, leaving it behind for one. For one
that he's
lady,
looking forward to.
Maybe.
Yeah. For again, it's about love and it's about life and it's about pushing through.
Yeah.
It gives it that feel. I've put here. It's a much heavier track and there's so much going on. It's and I think that adds to what you're saying there. Is that next stage is confusing. It's fast. It's nuts. The pace is constantly changing, and so are all the instruments, and so much is going on at once.
When it starts off, it's that blistering pace straight away, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Which I thought was mad. I didn't quite get. I kind of get. The thing is, though, you can't predict the Chili's.
Yeah.
I think that's what this speaks to. I was trying to sit there thinking as to why they would do it, but then I kind of realised, well, it's because of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They'll do what they want.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy this song, but I'll be honest, It's not one of my favourites.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit too fast paced for me.
Yeah.
When I consider the rest of the
I
album,
imagine it'd be good.
Still
it'd be
good,
good
though.
mixed in as part of a live set, wouldn't it?
oh, definitely, yeah. You know, he's got that pacing perfect as you go throughout the whole album.
Yeah. I'd probably like to see it as a performance rather
definitely.
than
I'd
listening
really like
in
to see that as well.
playlist. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, it's a really interesting one lyrically. Again, his command of language is brilliant. He refers to being a soldier like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I met this girl with long black hair and she opened up so wide, a daffodil growing in Brazil, and I picked her for my bride.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that alludes to his current wife, if he's married or not.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
I think he is
I'm not
married.
sure.
Yeah, he does have children, so he might be married.
Mm.
Yeah, you know, he's an odd man. He's got very good lyrics, and they're all nuts.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all you can say for this song, really. I don't think. I think jumping into it too much is gonna damage it, really. Because the true strength of the album, I feel, in my opinion, comes in the next 3 songs, where we've had this speed up again. You know, with Go Robot, Feasting on Flowers, Detroit, this one. But not going to say it. With this one as well. This is where now we've gone through that high, we're coming back on a down again. So what did you think of Encore?
Do you know what? Loved it. These last 3 ones as well, it's such a strong finisher. And they're just beautiful songs. They really are. Encore's got such a nice bass line. Apparently I was reading it was one that like Flea would play at live shows and backstage, just messing about.
Yeah.
I don't know, the rest of the band heard it, wanted to turn it into a song for a while, and then just built this from that, really. Yeah.
Fair. Well, yeah, I can see it now. You've said it like that. You know, with the kind of structure, it's mainly chorus structures, with a few kind of actual lyrical staffs in it and whatnot. But yeah,
Really strong, yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, you know, it's a brilliant track. Absolutely brilliant. The bass sounds great on it. The great guitar entry to the track. The chord changes. I love it as well. So a lot of the time, like when you're recording, as you'll know, when you're listening to kind of electric guitar playback or anything like that, or acoustic guitar playback, you don't often quite hear the change in notes as you move up and down the neck of the guitar. On this, I feel like they've pronounced it. I feel like they've made it an obvious a part of the song. So when you listen to the song as he's changing notes, you can really tell that he's changing notes. It's screeching along.
There's a big difference, isn't there, between them, between like higher and lower. I see what you mean with that.
Yeah, but you can hear that change, and I love it. It's such a subtle.
Really nice.
It's not always, it's a great acoustic sound that really gives it that kind of bass. It gives it that kind of feel that this is what. I don't know how to explain it. I just love it.
Yeah,
absolutely love it.
Yeah, you've got your road trip imagery just sprinkled in there as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Again, he's gone on the road with somebody, perhaps.
Yeah, every time he said Mary, I thought he was on about Mary Jane as in weed.
Oh, right.
That's what I was thinking. I went to share it all with Mary. Results are going to vary now.
Yeah. Well, that'd fit.
Skinny brains and little stains. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
It's Cali.
Yeah, he's
driving down Calexico Highway as well. Is that
again?
He
refers to Mexico a lot.
California, Mexico, right on the border, isn't it?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time is he refers to Mexico a lot. Calexico is in California, but I feel like he's got, when he was talking earlier about Mexico in one of his songs, I feel like he's got somewhat of a kind of link to it.
Yeah.
In his mind,
Yeah, if you're right next door.
I'm having a look quickly on Calexico.
Just fit.
It's a city in southern Imperial County, California, situated on the Mexico-United States border. Another interesting kind of like link there. I don't know who Mary is. I hope it's weed. Might be another girl. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows with these guys?
Probably weed, to be fair, but
This is my second favourite song.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Absolutely. Love it. I think first favourite is definitely Dark Necessities.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you there. But then I think
And
second though, it's got to be either The Hunter or Dreams of Samurai, which are the next ones that are coming up.
you like both of them, do
Yeah.
you?
Stuck
Go on
between
then,
them.
what I'll do
Stuck
is-
between them.
Yeah, what I'll do is, I really like these songs that come up next. I really like these next two tracks
Mhm.
a lot because it's a good take on what they can do as a band, compositionally.
Yeah.
I think as a piece itself, these are great at summing up the rest of the album and great on their own as individual tracks. But I'll be very interested to see what you got from it because it's more the two songs that I think most connect to what we've already covered as albums.
Yeah, but they bring it all
I
together
think the
nicely,
rest of
don't they?
these, I think the rest of these that we covered now are very chillies, but the last two are very connected to what we both like in songs.
Mhm.
So I'd like to see as you go through what you kind of identify and then what I feel the exact same way about.
Yeah.
Because I think it'll say a lot about what we value in the music that we listen to.
Okay.
So take it away for The Hunter.
Yeah, it's another really great chilled track, and I think the piano in this one really comes to the fore. It's really strong in that. And it sort of speaks to this reflective quality. I think he's all about his relationship with his father, isn't he?
Yeah.
Which I think there's a bit of troubled history behind that as well.
I mean, it can't be easy. It can't be easy. Anthony, by the looks of it, isn't a man who sits on his laurels or anything like that. He's very out there.
Yeah. I think
I
his father was a struggling actor and drug dealer, so he was exposed to all that at a young age.
Hunter gets hunted.
And then there's lines like, "Even though you raised me, I will never be your father." And is it this role reversal now? Is when his dad's aged and he's got to be the carer? Yeah.
It's a very interesting line. Even though you raised me, I will never be your father.
Mm-hmm.
Which is such. When you think about it as an actual line, I don't even think it makes grammatical sense.
Yeah.
I will never be your father. Well, you won't ever be because, you were raised by him.
Yeah.
But maybe you're right. Maybe it's that role reversal that has led them to this position where he's having to look after him.
Yeah, this
even
chorus
though he
is
was
just
raised.
fantastically written, isn't it? You've got
Yeah.
a couple of lines down there, and it says, "Even though you're crazy, you'll never be a bother. You're my old man in the sea."
He's lost at sea.
Yeah.
You think of kind of I think older men as they get older, they regret more and they kind of they look back on their life and see what they've done and what they're proud of, what they're not proud of.
Mate, I'm at that stage
and
now.
Maybe, you're an old man before your time have ever been anyway.
No,
Now,
it's
next you'll be
very
smoking
true.
a pipe and I don't like that modern music. Who's that? Arctic Monkeys, who are they? Bloody too modern for me, that.
Next week
Somebody
it's
Tom
Mozart.
Jones on. Mozart? How old are you? Bloody hell. I went with Tom Jones. You went with Mozart. But yeah, no, I see what you're saying. You're my old man in the sea, lost at sea, confused, maybe fucked in the head. Do you know what I mean? From all the drugs, maybe. I don't know. I don't know the history. Don't just slip away. Voices that start to betray. We all get confronted. Love it. What else did you get from this then?
Just that, really. I think it is. It's the decline and the aging process, and maybe having to look after a parent. It's just something that is having to face, and just a really beautiful song about it. So I think
it is, isn't it? It's another one that I have on my chilled playlist.
Same.
I love the chorus. Struck by the sight of an empty hall, don't you fade away. It's just got some beautiful lines like strawberries left to decay.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's brilliant. I really do.
Yeah.
I really like this song for all that it has. It's such a beautifully composed song. I don't think I want to go into it too much because I think the beauty lies in the kind of mystery of what happened with the father. I often try not to jump into things too much.
Yeah. Don't want to.
This because
Do you feel like it's spoilers for a film or something?
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy letting my imagination do the work. Sometimes I think, well, I really would have liked to have read Game of Thrones, but now I've watched the series, I'll never think of those characters being anyone other than what I've seen.
Yeah, that's true.
So my imagination can't get over what it knows is correct.
Yeah, it's tainted what you've.
So
what
if
you've seen,
I
hasn't
have
it?
this
The
image
facts
of
of it.
what, yeah, because I know what Anthony looks
Yeah.
like. I can imagine. I know what he's looked like at all stages of his life, young and a bit older than he is now, obviously.
Mhm.
But I don't want to see what his dad looks like. I want to leave that up to my imagination.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I'm not going to speak too much more on this song because it's such a beautiful song.
Mhm.
Go on then. So what do you think to the last song? What have we got?
Finally, we've got Dreams of Samurai. This is one I liked for a really long time. And it takes a while for the lyrics to kick in, and I find that instrumental introduction that builds up, it's just so satisfying to listen to. Really like.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's absolutely beautiful.
Comes in and then you get that really good bass line.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal track.
Mhm.
I am absolutely in love with it, especially the vocals that they bring in again. This kind of almost haunting end, or it sounds haunting, but it's not. If you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
I feel like that female voice is more of a kind of like a break in the storm.
Mhm.
You know, lyrically, it is the strongest song.
Yeah. There's so much that's quite open to interpretation as well. I think.
Exactly. You know, it's a beautiful song,
Mhm.
an amazing track. Like the bass line throughout is satisfying and fun, but not too loud to ruin the atmosphere of the song. You know,
Keeps that relaxed atmosphere, doesn't it? Yeah.
exactly.
It's a really good,
you
like,
know.
perfect balance of that, I would
You know,
say.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just feel like he's looking back over his life in this. Lines like "lost out on the range," and then don't remember much. I've gone insane. Is that like, lifestyle catching up
Yeah.
with him? Or,
Maybe so, but I feel like for me, like I think insanity is the true way he lives.
yeah,
When
you get
look
it's
at
that
all
free
he's done in
spirited
his
thing
life.
that you were mentioning earlier. It's
Yeah.
harks back to
I
that.
think actually that's his normal. That's how he likes to be.
Yeah.
Like I don't see that being any different than how he's always been. So maybe I feel like he's kind of harkening back to the earlier tracks when they're on about they were big and then they were small. Like I feel like
Mhm.
when they got big, they were told what to do a lot more, and then as they've got smaller again, they've been able to kind of come out of that and do what they want again. Metamorphosis Samurai,
Yeah.
the changing. There is a change happening.
Mm-hmm.
The
Definitely.
best line I like so much is taking acid in a graveyard,
Yeah.
stealing food to keep the night alive. Every day I try to play hard, even with my lies. Like you said, he's looking back, but at the same time, there's plenty of that in the now.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful song. It really is a beautiful song, and a great finish to an otherwise brilliant album.
Very strong album.
What did you think of the album cover?
The cover, it's a bit strange, isn't it? But it's,
But I think it's brilliant.
yeah.
And when I look at it, especially after like what we've just kind of discussed, I actually see Detroit.
Yeah, definitely. The setting is that kind of thing, because in the background you've got a graffitied door, and there's a post graffiti on it as well. It's a it's a street, isn't it, essentially? For anybody listening as well, there's a big black bear, little girl, and a raccoon, and then a raven out front as well, just all walking down this street.
And then the full image, which is on the full kind of record album on the vinyl,
Yeah.
stretches past that. Up in
Oh,
front,
right.
there's a fox galloping,
Really?
like in full sprint.
So they've cropped it.
If you type it, it's just for the front cover, so you can see the fox's tail if you look next to the post.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You type in Red Hot Chili Peppers Getaway in image searches for Google, you can bring it up. Again, it looks like a dilapidated front of any kind of American street that you would kind of see, covered in posters and graffiti and damage in the streets. Even the post that the raven sat on, or the crow rather, is sat on, is graffitied. And I'd really like to see, well, why have they picked these animals?
Yeah. Do you know?
what I
It's funny you should say that, actually, because it's brought up a interview that Anthony's had on it.
Okay.
The cover is a painting by an artist called Kevin Patterson. So they asked him if they could use his image, And then Anthony's quote from this interview here is said, normally we get a little bit more highbrow artsy, but this just felt extremely warm and human, even though it's animals. And he says it's them as well, it's the band. Chad is the bear, Josh is the girl, and Flea is the raccoon, and me is the funny little raven out front. So he's seen the band in this picture, picked it out, crops in on them. So
you know what I find interesting with the Foxby?
Yeah.
I think from a speculative point, they've cut out, but it's on the full. You bought the full kind of album, you'd get the full picture.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe that's the ex-member.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Running out in front of him.
Yeah,
he's ahead of them because they're all heading towards the same area. They're all heading the same way, but they're getting there in their own ways. With their own kind of personalities. And I feel like maybe it's sort of speculation. Obviously, if I had to guess. It would be that their dead friend is out in front, already ahead of them in the next dimension,
in the next life, yeah.
And they're crossing over into it with him, soon to be followed. Do you know what I mean? As the natural game of life that it is.
Yeah.
I think every part of this album is a great piece put together with the purpose, and I think that purpose has been to kind of describe where they're at, where they've been, and where they are feeling at all stages of that.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant band with a brilliant mindset, and it's a very warm band. It's never been one that has felt overly produced or felt like they've gone and done something just because they feel like they should do something.
No.
They've only ever done what they want.
They've never had that kind of attitude as well, have they? Or
no, they never. I don't think
still open and genuine people.
It's even down to, I think what really puts that in perspective for me was, of all places, is James Corden's Carpool Karaoke.
Yeah, that's a really good watch. Yeah,
it's amazing because they're just so genuine,
just having a good time. That's what it's all about.
They're just having an absolute laugh, which I really love.
It's good life lessons to take away from them, I think.
Exactly. I think it's good life lessons to take away. I'd really encourage anyone to go and have a look at the video for Dark Necessities. When you look into it, there's a lot of imagery of kind of like broken knuckles and cigarettes, and a lot of kind of maybe allusions to drug use, and most often members of the same sex being near each other, which is maybe where I got that thought from. There's a scene, for example, where I think it's all women skateboarding, which obviously you don't have to be fucking anything to skateboard. Anyone can fucking skateboard, and I'm not saying anything like that, but I feel like it's maybe been put like that for a reason.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out because it's.
Please do.
It sounds like it clarifies the song quite a bit as well.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Please have a go and watch that on YouTube as well. It's on their own site. It's a brilliant watch as well. I think anything with them is. But it's a great piece. I really enjoyed the album. I'm glad that you enjoyed it too, and I'll be looking forward to kind of them making more music. Really, I really hope they do. But at the same time, I know they're probably all getting to a stage in their life now where they're settling more, maybe, considering how old the band is. I don't know.
Potentially.
What were your thoughts on the whole experience?
I just think it's an older band, isn't it? But they're still having fun with it, and it's quite a refined and accomplished piece as a whole. And they're just going through a lot of their life lessons maybe that they've learned. And sort of at the top of the game now, I think. Yeah. Despite any sort of age or advanced years that they might be experiencing. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope they stay there. Right then. I hope you enjoyed that kind of look. So now what we're going to do is going to move into the next stage, which is now it is Lewis's turn to give me an album to go away with. What have you got for me, Lewis?
So next up, I think is one that you know already, to be fair. It's one that a really good friend of mine recommended to me and really enjoyed it. Sort of really bluesy American rock again. We've got the Black Keys with El Camino, 2011 album.
I love this album. I absolutely love it. This is one of the first CDs that I went out and bought with my own money.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. It was 2011 it came out, and I would have been 16.
Oh, yeah.
ish. Yeah, you're coming up to 16, like 16, 17 ish. So I think this is when I was going to start to, and I hadn't heard of it before. I think I heard it on Radio 1 in the morning as my mum drove me to school.
All right.
I think it was that kind of like I was in the car and I thought this is amazing. And I remember going out and getting the album, and then I bought the album from HMV, got home, opened it to put it in the car. There's no CD in it.
Oh,
I got proper ripped off. No, absolutely. Drove HMV. I know it was like a massive.
What a disappointment.
It was like 2 hours out in the morning at Up Anley in Stoke. Right, Up Anley. And I got the album, got back, thought, oh great, an actual CD I bought that I want to put in the car to listen to like in the mornings and stuff. What do you know, CD in it? Proper ripped off. Yeah, I did eventually buy another one because I couldn't drive myself, so I couldn't go back to HMV to go and take it in or anything. So I'm pretty sure somewhere I've still got the album that's got nothing in. Which I thought was ridiculous. So I was proper peed off. Anyway,
so it's an old wound for you.
It is, but you know what? The music makes up for it because this track is one of the most fun tracks to sing along to I've ever had. Nearly every song on this track I love singing along to.
It's great, isn't it? It's just
it's a
cool
cracking
sound.
little track.
Looking forward
when
to.
Did you get introduced to it?
It were not when it came out. Probably a good maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just one that Connor that recommended it to me. A good friend of ours.
Oh right.
And yeah, just loved it from first listen.
No, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to sort of digging a bit deeper now and just seeing the
absolutely.
inception of it. And,
absolutely.
What brought it to do it?
I already know what my favourite tracks are. I always know,
Yeah.
They've got an interesting story behind them as well, which I'm sure we can go into.
Okay.
Cool. Very interesting story behind them.
That's something I want to research for next time.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a really good one. Trust me. Again, if you've got anything that you want to recommend us listen to, put it in the comments below. We'd be happy to take it on. We do have an email address that we put in the description as well if you want to email us any suggestions, if that's better for you. We love doing this. I think we get a lot out of this.
And we just love this discussion, really, don't we? Like, I think
if
you want to get involved, please do.
Absolutely. Any comments or queries or anything you have, please put it down below in the comments, and we'll be happy to respond as soon as we can. So thanks again, Lewis, for bringing that album.
You're welcome.
And looking forward to next time. Thank you very much.
See you next time, listeners. Goodbye.
Bye.